Meeting, we are 2 minutes into the meeting. We are supposed to be having a committee started at 9, and then as I'm saying, we're 2 minutes into it. Can we then observe a moment of silence for mediation and or prayer? Thank you very much. We are all welcome into the meeting. Apologies.
Chairperson, there is no apology except that, okay, there's no apology because Ms. Tsege is in now. She had problems with load shedding, but she says she's in now. So there's no apology.
Okay. In the absence of apologies, we get into item 3, which is the consideration and adoption. Who is going to do that?
Sharon, Chairperson.
You are in your hands, Ms. Daud.
Morning, Chairperson, and morning, members and colleagues. I'm sorry I'm load shedding as well here. Okay, I'm just going to highlight, some of the issues in the budgetary review and recommendation report. The budgetary review and recommendation report of the Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation and the Act of Water and Sanitation and its entities for the 21-22 financial year. The Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation considered the briefings by the Auditor General, the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation on the 11th of October 2022, the Department of Water and Sanitation on the 11th of October 2022, and its entities, the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority, Water Research Commission, and the Catchment Management Agencies on the 13th of October 2022 for the 21-22 financial year, and reports as follows. The introduction provides the mandate of the Portfolio Committee within the constitutional prescripts and the rules of Parliament. And the Portfolio Committee's mandate is premised on 5 constitutional mandates of Parliament, that is processing legislation, conducting oversight, ensuring public participation, processing international agreements, and facilitating cooperative governance within the intergovernmental relations framework. The purpose of the budgetary review and recommendation report is underpinned by the Money Bills Amendment Procedure and Related Matters Act of 2009, which sets out the process that allows Parliament through its committees to make recommendations to the Minister of Finance to amend the budget of a national department. In October of each year, portfolio committees must compile the budgetary review and recommendation reports that assess service delivery performance, given the available resources, evaluate the effective and efficient use and forward allocation of resources, and make recommendations on forward use of resources. The mandate, legislation, and national imperatives underpinning the work of the department for the 21-22 financial year The Department of Water and Sanitation undertook many activities to deliver on its mandate and legislative obligations of ensuring water security for basic needs and economic development, and ensuring delivery of water and sanitation services for all South Africans. The legislative compliance guiding the work of the department is the National Water Act, Water Services Act, Water Research Act, that should read, and the Constitution enshrined in the Bill of Rights, sections 10, 24A, 27(1)B, and section 27(2). The Public Finance Management Act and National Treasury regulations define compliance and adherence to financial prescripts. The other national strategies and policies underpinning the work of government departments are the National Development Plan and the Medium-Term Strategic Framework, as well as one of the comprehensive plans of the Department of Water and Sanitation, that is the National Water and Sanitation Master Plan. Okay, underpinning all of the department's work are the goals and objectives and targets and indicators prescribed under the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Then I move to 2.1, the overview of the work of the Department of Water and Sanitation, 21-22 financial year. And what this section is arguing is that in the foreword by the minister, the statement by the deputy minister, and report of the accounting officer, captured in the annual report 21-22 year, about 41, it captures the centrality of water resources management and water services provision in South Africa within a complex and challenging water scarce, semi-arid country. Some of the critical challenges within the water sector are the low rainfall, low dam levels, limited underground aquifers, water scarcity, and significant water transfers from neighboring countries have resulted in the Department of Water and Sanitation working to resolve tough trade-offs of demand and supply between agriculture, key industrial activities such as mining and power generation, increased population, and impacts of climatic variation such as drought and climate change. An important consideration for the department in the year under review centered on the provision, management, operations, and maintenance of bulk water and sanitation infrastructure and water service provision within concurrent competencies between national and local government institutions. The roles and responsibilities of institutions at different spheres of government within the entire water value chain, raise some complexities in the water sector in that the reporting structure is challenging and requires more cooperation between different spheres. The next paragraph just looks at managing challenges and finding a blend of solution requires strong institutional structures, systematic programs and plans that have both the financial and non-financial capabilities to evaluate achievements and non-achievements across the water value chain. The institutions to support the work of the department include the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority, the Water Research Commission, water boards, and catchment management agencies. For the year under review, the department delineated 3 programs, that is administration, water resources management, and water services management to underpin its work. In summary, although the Department of Water and Sanitation received an unqualified audit outcome, it encountered several challenges in financial management, such as awaiting approval for condemnations, irregular expenditure, unauthorized expenditure, and under expenditure. The main reasons for the under expenditure related to infrastructure procurement, whereby similar processes for procuring goods and services were used within the infrastructure and construction units and were deemed inappropriate. The Portfolio Committee, however, commended the Department of Water and Sanitation on attaining several achievements under its new administration. For the 21-22 financial year, the department was transparent on the historical challenges inherited from the previous administration through its quarterly reporting sessions to the Portfolio Committee. It provided measures to rectify and mitigate future transgressions. The current challenges faced in respect of irregular expenditure, debt collection, and critical work that needed to be done to ensure due process followed in the finalization of cases, improving debt collection strategies, and reducing debtors' days were the standing agenda items as part of the quarterly briefings by the department. However, the Director General stressed that the department has developed and is currently implementing a turnaround and financial recovery plan to address the following: timely submission of annual financial statements to the Auditor General South Africa and National Treasury as per the requirements of the Public Finance Management Act, timely submission of the annual report to Parliament, enhanced performance and consequence management systems, strategic leadership, institutional stabilization, capacity and training, sustainable service delivery, infrastructure maintenance and development, improved financial management systems, and implementation of new organizational structure. The next section 3 looks at the audit and evaluation of the work of the department by the Auditor General and the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation. Chairperson, I'll just emphasize this section because I think it's quite critical for the budgetary review and recommendation report. I won't go through the mission and the vision. However, the Auditor General and the department, as well as the entities, always stress the importance of water resources management and water provision in a developmental country, the compliance with the prescripts of the Constitution, and ensuring attainment of Goal 6 of the Sustainable Development Goals, in providing citizens access to basic services such as water and sanitation, with the state taking reasonable measures to attain this, is a fundamental prerequisite across the entire water value chain in South Africa. The audit outcomes of the 4 entities, the main account and water trading entity of the Department of Water and Sanitation, Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority and Water Research Commission between 2017-18 and 21-22 show an incremental improvement. The 2017-18 audit produced 2 qualified audits with findings for the Department of Water and Sanitation and the water trading entity, 1 unqualified audit with findings for the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority, and a clean audit for the Water Research Commission. In the 21-22 financial year, 3 entities, the water trading entity, the Department of Water and Sanitation, and the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority received an unqualified audit with findings and a clean audit for the Water Research Commission. The overall significant findings and outcomes of the water trading entity, the department and TCTA related to issues of compliance with legislation, irregular expenditure, the non-attainment of predetermined targets in the annual performance plan, and actual achievements, specifically in the areas of maintenance of infrastructure and non-compliance to updating the asset management plan as required by the Government Asset Management Act of 2018. The resultant impact of not optimally maintaining infrastructure systematically shortened the lifespan and increased new infrastructure costs. In this regard, the Auditor General recommended that the department relooks at the asset management plan to ensure infrastructure assets are appropriately managed with an indication of the financial resourcing of the plan, which must be monitored and tracked. An overview of the audit outcomes for the main account, the water trading entity, the TCTA, and the Water Research Commission reflected the following. On the main account, the department was qualified on training and development costs and the related payables for the 2021 financial year. In this regard, it did not adequately reconcile the invoices from the supplier by the implementing agent, supporting evidence of learners trained in the War on Leaks program. However, in the 2021-22 financial year, the department cleared the disqualification by reconciling the invoices received from the supplier. Material connections to the financial statement continue to be reported as a material non-compliance matter with internal controls that need to be strengthened to prevent material errors in the accounting system for various disclosure items. On irregular expenditure for the year under review, it amounted to 220.8 million, which reflected a decrease of 22.5% compared to the prior year. Frivolous and wasteful expenditure amounted to 9.2 million. On consequence management, the material non-compliance issues related to ongoing investigations, sanctions and recommendations not implemented for completed forensic investigations, and failure to properly deal with allegations reported in the prior year. On the water trading entity, it received an unqualified audit outcome with findings with compliance with legislation due to the lack of improvements in the overall control environment and ineffective monitoring of audit action plans. The Auditor General maintained that the controls around compliance with laws and regulations in the water trading entity should be strengthened. The entity incurred irregular expenditure amounting to 239.8 million, an increase of 25% compared to the prior year, and frivolous and wasteful expenditure amounting to 140 million. On consequence management, the material non-compliance issues related to ongoing investigations, sanctions, recommendations not implemented for completed forensic investigations, and failure to properly deal with allegations reported in the prior year. On the performance audit on the Department of Water and Sanitation, the Auditor General looked specifically at Program 3, Water Services Management, and one of the weaknesses they found was that the department set targets greater than those required by the medium-term strategic framework for the number of bulk water supply projects implemented, but fell short of the target by 61%. The department also did not achieve the set targets for the number of dam rehabilitation projects and new dams constructed. The root causes for the non-achievement of these indicators relate to inadequate project management, inadequate supervision of contractors resulting in the late identification of poor performance of contractors, and protracted supply chain management processes. For the number of bucket sanitation systems eradicated in former areas, the department set the target of 23,019 over 2 years for 2019-20 and 2021, which is above the target set by the medium-term strategic framework. The department achieved only 6% of the set target. Of concern was that the department did not set any targets for the program for the 21-22 financial year. One key indicator in the medium-term strategic framework not included in the annual performance plan was eradicating the bucket sanitation system, In the year under review, the department allocated 292.6 million from the Regional Bulk Infrastructure Grant in Free State and Northern Cape, but only 48.9 million was spent. With the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority, it received an unqualified audit outcome with findings on compliance and controls and compliance with laws and regulations. The entity incurred irregular expenditure amounting to 32.9 million, an increase of 94% compared to the prior year, fruitless and wasteful expenditure amounting to 194 million, on consequence management material non-compliance issues related to ongoing investigations, sanctions, recommendations not implemented for completed forensic investigations, and failure to properly deal with allegations reported in the prior year. A performance audit on Objective 2 of the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority: operate and maintain designated projects to meet departmental requirements specifications. 2 targets were not achieved, resulting in 28.5% non-achievement. These relate to the tender documents to prepare for the tunnel outage of phase 2 of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project, which was to be finalized in the 21-22 financial year. Another area highlighted is related to the operation and maintenance of acid-mine drainage by TCTA in the Eastern, Central, and Western basins. Due to the failure of motor pumps, no operations took place in the Eastern Basin from 2nd February 2022. The Water Research Commission remained unqualified with no findings on compliance. The Auditor General noted a strong internal control environment over the recording and reporting of financial and performance information and disciplined adherence to applicable legislation that had assisted the entity in achieving a clean audit. The entity incurred irregular expenditure of 12.2 million, an increase of 100% compared to the prior year. This is related to performance bonuses and salary increases not approved by delegations of authority as required by Section 56 of the Public Finance Management Act. Some of the critical service delivery issues that the Auditor General highlighted in terms of the management of infrastructure, water quality, and water loss. On infrastructure management, the Auditor General found that between 2015 to 2022, a marginal decrease of 4% in backlogs of access to basic water supply was attained. Other weaknesses related to delays in the completion of infrastructure projects, maintenance of infrastructure, no updating of the asset management plan since 2018 in contravention of the Government Immovable Asset Management Act of 2008, should have read, sorry, and no indicator identified to measure the progress made to correct backlogs in maintenance. The findings on water quality revealed that although the department developed a water services improvement plan to assist water services authorities, the plan did not address the root causes identified in the blue and green drop reports. Water monitoring reports by the department revealed significant avoidable water losses within the jurisdictions of water services authorities. In the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, provided some information on identifying of outcome indicators and their analysis of outcome 1, the protection, restoration of ecological infrastructure, outcome 4, water and sanitation services, outcome 5, the enhanced regulation. And then the table below just looks at the performance of the department against the outcomes in the medium-term strategic framework. And it captures 100% of water services authorities receive acceptable scores and functional assessment in the municipal strategic self-assessment. And the department set a target of 100%, it achieved 76%. And it set a target of 100% of the municipal priority action plans, 18% were developed, and 98 are required to develop the plan based on the municipal strategic self-assessment. Then 90% access to adequate sanitation and hygiene. The draft National Sanitation Integration Plan was developed, but no implementation plans were submitted. 100% of wastewater treatment works operational and functional. I'll correct that. Of this, 56 bulk water supply and sanitation projects were completed. Well, the target was 56, and of this, 16 were completed. In terms of wastewater treatment works, 963 were assessed for green drop regulatory requirements, and they managed to see and achieve 995. With wastewater treatment, 260 non-compliant wastewater systems were monitored, and they achieved 460 wastewater systems monitored. Amended regulatory framework on water ownership and governance. The draft National Water Amendment Bill was submitted to Cabinet for approval for public consultation, and the National Water Amendment Bill was submitted to the Office of the State Law Advisor. And then the achievements and constraints the achievements related to the use of the infrastructure fund to improve the work of Program 3 and the relaunch of the green and blue drop reports. Although the DPME maintained that the work was commendable, DPME maintained that infrastructure dilapidation, as seen in the recent floods in KwaZulu-Natal, should be used as a basis for the establishment of critical bulk water and sanitation infrastructure in the country. One of the major significant constraints in the water and sanitation in South Africa, according to the DPME, relates to the dysfunctionality of water boards, with weak governance, municipal debt, and inefficiencies in financial management, which result in ineffective operations and poor maintenance of water quality infrastructure. Then the department provided an overview, a high-level summary of the financial and non-financial performance of the Department of Water and Sanitation for the year under review, reflects that the final appropriation amounted to 17.7 billion, with administration allocated 1.9 billion, water resource management 3.6 billion, and water services management 12.1 billion. The sections thereafter just provide the breakdown in terms of employee costs, goods and services, transfers, capital assets, and in that it also gives the achieved targets for each of the programs. As mentioned earlier, irregular expenditure and debt owed by municipalities form the basis of engagements and report back sessions to the Portfolio Committee during the quarterly reporting session of the financial and non-financial performance of the department. The tracking and monitoring of progress and the finalization of matters related to irregular expenditure and debt collection within the main account, water trading entity, and Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority. It was and is still an important oversight objective of the Portfolio Committee. Currently, irregular expenditure of 9.3 billion on the main account and 8.1 billion on the water trading entity. with under expenditure amounting to approximately 2 billion in the financial year under review. In terms of achievements of annual targets as reported in the annual performance report for the year under review, the Department of Water and Sanitation achieved 66%, with 34% not achieved. The TCTA achieved 75%, with 25% not achieved, and 100% achievement of the Water Research Commission. Sorry about that. On the main account, the department spent 15.2 billion of its final appropriation for the year under review. On program 1, administration, it underspent 243.5 million or 12%, which was mainly due to the compensation of employees, the reduced rate of filling vacancies, and goods and services. The performance information related to program 2 reflect an achievement of 67% of planned targets, with an overachievement of filling a vacancy posts for engineers and scientists. On program 2, it underspent 116.7 million, primarily on compensation of employees, goods and services, and payments of capital assets. The performance information reflected an achievement of 63% of its planned targets. Program 3, Water Services Management, underspent to 2.1 billion, compensation of employees, goods and services, payments of capital assets. In this program, it achieved 72% of its planned targets. The water trading entity is divided into the Water Resources Management Unit and the Infrastructure Branch. The operational expenditure shows that there was an operating surplus of 7.2 billion for the period ending 31st March. The operating surplus increased from 5.2 billion in the 2021 financial year to 7.2 billion. The expenditure reflects a reduction of 670 million when compared to the prior year. Other important considerations in the operational performance of the water trading entity comprise the following: the operating expenditure, the liquidity status, which indicates that the entity has sufficient liquid assets to meet its short-term financial obligations, and it has a positive cash flow as well as an increased revenue in the year under review. Then we move on to the overview of the work of supporting entities within the Department of Water and Sanitation. That is the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority. It received an unqualified audit outcome with findings for the 21-22 financial year. As mentioned earlier, the findings related to irregular expenditure and fruitless and wasteful expenditure. For the year under review, the TCTA devised 3 broad predetermined objectives, and 77% of the predetermined objectives were achieved. The Water Research Commission had a total income, including levy and leverage, of 417.4 million. Levies made up 67% of the WRC's income, and it achieved an unqualified audit in 21-22. The next paragraph just provides the highlights for 21-22, which included the conclusion of several research projects, such as the launch of a micro hydropower to provide electricity for the rural community of Madiba in the Oliver Tambo District Municipality. The targets achieved 110 research and development innovation projects, with 113 finalized. With the Catchment Management Agency, The achievements for the financial year under review included efficiency in water use application. For the prerequisites, the total operating expenditure for the agency increased from 70.8 million to 78.5 million in the financial year. The increase is attributed to the increase in operational expenses and employee-related costs. The revenue reflects an increase of 9% compared to the prior year. And then the agency received a qualified audit opinion with findings. The basis of qualification related to the agency's failure to prove the existence of water users and uncorrected material mistakes. The Imprimatur Sutu Catchment Management Agency attained financial results, which defined its operations as a growing concern, with a solvent balance sheet with a net surplus of 4.9 million. In relation to financial performance against financial sustainability, the agency successfully implemented responsive cost containment strategies while improving already defined revenue streams. The agency received an unqualified audit opinion, but some of the challenges highlighted by the agency relate to low debt recovery levels, funding constraints due to non-paying and slow-paying users, limitations of the pricing strategy which limit full cost recovery of costs, pollution of resources, and non-finalization of the verification and validation process due to ongoing litigation. The last section, members and colleagues, section 6, the observations and recommendations. The following observations with concomitant recommendations were devised by members of the Portfolio Committee in response to deliberations of presentations. Irregular expenditure and under expenditure. The tracking and monitoring of progress on the finalization of matters related to irregular expenditure and debt collection under the main account water trading entity and Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority is an important oversight objective of the Portfolio Committee. While the members of the Portfolio Committee welcome the improved progress in the audit outcomes of the main account and water trading entity and TCTA, the irregular expenditure and under expenditure across the department's programs negate departmental attempts to improve good governance and improved financial management. The department and TCTA should provide a progress report with concrete frameworks and action plans to address the above matters. In relation to the bulk infrastructure development, the spending of the regional bulk infrastructure grant was the importance of addressing the construction, maintenance, and operations of bulk water and sanitation infrastructure at the national and local spheres of government was emphasized. Members of the Portfolio Committee maintained that it was important for the department to monitor the ongoing contractual disputes, lapsing of contracts, which impacted the progress of projects and delays in the commencement of construction activities that need to be seriously addressed. This is related to delays in the Vaal River System Remediation Program and the Umzimvubu Dam and other major wastewater and water projects. The Portfolio Committee resolved that the department should provide the timeframes of the recovery plan to facilitate progress on incomplete projects within Program 2. On condonation of irregular expenditure, Although the members of the Portfolio Committee accepted the responses of the department in respect of the condonation of irregular expenditure, such as recouping funds and instigating disciplinary measures, including charges of fraud and corruption by transgressing officials, members maintain this long-standing matter be resolved. The recommendation, the department should on a quarterly basis provide a progress report on recouping funds and work on finalizing the disciplinary cases with information on National Treasury's processes. The weaknesses in procurement policies and supply chain management systems, the Portfolio Committee welcomed the assurance by the department that it is implementing a procurement strategy anchored on a financial recovery plan. The plan aims to improve the overall financial environment, including improving the audit opinion within the portfolio. The plan also includes implementing the infrastructure procurement strategy to improve procurement within the department and its implementing agency, to fast-track implementation at project level and increase efficiency. The recommendation, the department should brief the Portfolio Committee on implementing its procurement strategy plans to allow members to track progress on work undertaken to improve its financial recovery plan. The key recommendations highlighted by the Auditor General and the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation. Members of the Portfolio Committee noted the following key recommendations to the accounting officers by the Auditor General and the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation. They stressed the importance of the department addressing these matters. The Auditor General highlighted the following recommendations: a need for detailed action plans to be devised to address challenges affecting implementing key projects and making infrastructure projects and managing infrastructure projects at the water trading entity. Management of water quality risks and water losses at water services authority should be developed and implemented. Timeous monitoring and oversight over the proper implementation of action plans to address both internal and external audit findings to avoid repeat findings. Continuous monitoring of compliance with legal and regulatory provisions to avoid non-compliance findings. Ensure financial statements are appropriately reviewed in line with the accounting reporting framework requirement, and continue focusing on consequence management to complete all investigations and cases of irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure. Expedite negotiations with the government of Lesotho on royalties related to the Lesotho Highlands Water Project. The DPME recommended the following for consideration: to ensure critical infrastructure investments in the water sector with an allocated capital expenditure budget appropriately spent on identified projects within the planned project timelines across the 3 spheres of government. The department to establish mechanisms to address the backlog on the maintenance and refurbishment of critical infrastructure across the board. The department, in collaboration with the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs and MISA, supports the urgent need for municipalities to attend to water leaks. To fast-track the implementation of the National Water and Sanitation Master Plan to address water security in the country in respect of water investment planning, maintenance of water infrastructure, and water quality management, to support the efficiencies of water boards. The Department of Water and Sanitation is to provide a progress report with timeframes on strategies to implement the recommendations of the Auditor General. These were the emphasis or the strategies highlighted by the department to deal with the audit outcomes. The Portfolio Committee appreciated the emphasis by the department to devise strategies to deal with audit outcomes, which comprise the following: implementing a turnaround and financial recovery plan, which incorporates stabilization of the department, improvement of systems of internal controls, and preventative measures against fraud and corruption. Trend analysis of improper expenditure to ensure decline in irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure, improve planning and implementation of infrastructure procurement strategy, measures to be taken to eliminate irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure to be supported by preventative control measures. The implementation of an exit strategy on irregular contracts to ensure the current incidents of irregular expenditure from the prior year are terminated. Completion of an integrated water sector value chain support and intervention measures to improve water service delivery. The department should on a quarterly basis provide the systematic approach to the outcomes and targets achieved in implementing strategies to deal with audit outcomes. I thank you, Chairperson and members, for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sharon. Thank you very much, members. I think we all heard. We need just to take into consideration that, remember, this is a chronological dilemma that we have, that we need to pass as an after effect or an after effect, because we will have engaged with the Auditor General, we will have engaged with the DPME, and we'll have made our observations there and even our recommendations. But I'm sure then the Sherin and the team are now wanting, just emphasizing that which we said in that meeting, in order for us to can take the report to Parliament for processing. But it does not make us not eligible to speak to the report as it is represented now, before it goes for Parliament processes. Thank you, Sherin, for the good work done. I will see hands on the portal if there are some people that need to make inputs on the report. Let me check if there are hands. What's happening? Let me see. Yes, there is a hand of Honorable Tseke. Thus far, it is only the hand. Honorable Tseke.
Chair, thanks. Thank you very much. And let me also take this opportunity to thank Mrs. Sherin Dawood in consolidating the team, in consolidating this report. I know it was not an easy work because we interacted with the department and all these three entities last week. So it was a mammoth task to do, but thank you very much for your good work and your commitment, team Water and Sanitation. I just want to add to one or two or three recommendations on top of what Ms. Sherin has identified. Generally we agree with all the recommendations that have been raised here, but I just want to add two or three, Chair. One, on the issue of, I think we have not emphasized the issue of budget eradication program, Sherin. I think it is important that we emphasize it in this recommendation. that we must be able to follow up on in our quarterly reports. I think it is important that we follow up the work that the department is doing in terms of eradicating the bucket system in the 2 provinces. We know there was a commitment that they will be completed by 30 March 2023, but I think it's our responsibility that we follow it up. And the other issue is on the transformation of the irrigation board. I think it's important that the department brief the portfolio committee on a quarterly basis on the progress made to transform the irrigation board into the water user association. I think we should emphasize that point. Lastly, on the where's my notes? Lastly, on the war on leaks, I know there was a recommendation that was done by DPMA, but I think it's important that the department work with the COGTA to find ways in which local municipality must absorb the students that were trained in the War on Leaks program, so that they can be able to assist in the maintenance of the ailing water and sanitation infrastructure in our local municipalities. I think those are the 3 inputs that I wanted to make. Thanks, Chairperson. Thank you, Chair.
Ma'am Swai, your hand is up. I can see it.
I'm happy, Chair.
That's cool. That's cool as help. That's cool as help.
Yeah, please, thank you very much. Thank you, Chair. Just 3 areas in appreciation of a very extensive report presented to us, which I think it allows us to apply our mind thoroughly, where it has got also some views from the audit, the AG's office. Chair, I want to speak on the issue that Honorable Tseki has raised. The issue of eradication of poverty, it's not a nice thing to do. It is a program of redress. And it is a program that also talks on the poverty alleviation and inequalities of our people. The huge housing projects that have happened in the country competes with those houses that do not have nice and well-structured toilets. And that has got a negative effect to many families. And they believe that government is not addressing the people equally in terms of their rights. So I just want to make an emphasis that this program, which Honorable Mkhunu came to say, that program cannot be a housing program, give it to me. And you're excited. I wish that it could be taken in that context. The other issue is, I don't know how the assessment and the research has been made that there are provinces that are not considered. I've got a big area in Nelson Mandela called New Brighton boasts old areas of the apartheid. Still needs bucket eradication. I don't see in this. I just want to raise that so that officials perhaps could consider making a further assessment on those particular areas. The second issue, Chair, it is the issue of, I think recently, there are areas that we do not believe that are dangerous to our people. The catchment areas, the wetland areas, which some of them are within our communities. They kill the people every day. And those are not taken to us for notice. One of them was the one that was in Kimberley, where a boy sank in that wetlands and it's taken to public protector. We don't want such issues of public protector trying to intervene in our work. This is our work. So I'm raising this issue that in the plans that are here on the catchment and wetlands, can we be assisted? Perhaps a clear audit of where are those and the danger, so that the budget does not go back again and is underutilized when there is a need to address those issues. The last one, Chair. Hey, sesithubeni ke apha ngoku izinto ziyandlahleka semaphandleni. Chair, can you allow me to come back? There were 3. Can you allow me to come back when I've managed to get that? With your indulgence, Chairperson.
As a student, I must allow you.
Thank you, Chair. I will. Thank you very much.
Memi Oko,
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, colleagues. Chair, let me also join honorable members in appreciating the work that has been done by the Department of preparing such a comprehensive report and recommendations made by the Portfolio Committee. However, Chair, there are 2 issues that I may want to speak to. Is the first one, it's on the issue of wetland. We have realized what has happened in the community of KZN, and we are saying that what has happened should be a wake-up call for us as leaders in government and also in the National Assembly. What I'm trying to bring to the attention of the committee is that there's a need for us to work in collaboration with the Department of Environmental Affairs. More so, one has observed as a member of community and also as a member that it's like we are not taking or protecting wetlands that we have in the country, and that can be the wetlands can be rehabilitated, and when they are protected can also be used as a source of groundwater. Looking at what is happening currently in Gauteng, where you will have water shortages, communities will go for more than 2-3 days without water. Maybe if we can work in collaboration with Department of Environmental Affairs in dealing with such, and also what might also be a recommendation. I can see we are talking much about ourselves and the issue of leaks. The last time I checked statistics was that we are losing up to 30% of water in our country. It was the last time, but I have not recently checked the current statistics. And with regards to that, and with the recommendation also that I may support Honorable Tseke, that we look into issues of encouraging or educating our communities to maintain their own backyard waters. If we can really do that, I think that might also help a great deal when you are in townships, when you are in rural villages. You see these leaks, and one would ask, why are we not taking education to our people in terms of water? That would be my submission in terms of that, and acknowledge that, Chair, the issue of quality of water standards that we have in the country due to poor maintenance and all other issues that are being raised are indeed true. But we cannot keep on raising the issues. I think we need also to be proactive as a committee and also with the department to make sure that we become so proactive than reactive in instances where we are able to help our communities, where we are able to improve the services. When you look at the finances, there's improvement. One must appreciate and acknowledge that there is improvement, but improvements alone in terms of your finances and in terms of governance, leaving issues of service delivery, for me, it's a big issue that needs to be addressed. And lastly, Chair, it's not the first time that I attend the meeting of the portfolio committee. I was only absent in the portfolio committee last week. I wanted to the committee to record that it was due to ill health that I was not able to attend the meeting last week. That's the only meeting that I've missed. Thank you, Chair.
Complain ya inga na yung memo.
Ne ke sa complain it, Chair, ne ke raise gore it must be noted in the meeting that I was absent only last week, not from yes, Chair. Thank you.
Is it because Bangwala are absent and everything? Okay.
Yes, Chair.
Oh, okay. But since why you keep but I'll be some 17.
How about you, Chair?
Okay. That's a key. The husband this time.
Chairperson,
Yes, it is your
very
turn.
much. Yeah, I think I want to agree with the leadership of the additions that has been presented, Chairperson, and agree with Sharina's presentation, Chairperson. Thank you.
Okay. I see no other hand. I must say that with everything that we said, we have appreciated, of course, the good progress made by the department and even the two entities. But we also still raise the issue that there are still some element of underperformance or non-meeting of the commitment as made, most especially the predetermined ones. The recommendations, as they say, we still need them to be taken serious and be corrected. Otherwise, we have noted the progress made by the department. Is there anyone I'm leaving behind? Mom, you said you wanted to come back.
Chair,
Yeah.
I am back to you.
Please continue.
Just one area, Chairperson. It is a question that I just want to pose to the department. There are issues that I do not believe that we consider them very important.
the department continues to talk about monitoring and evaluation and all those issues. Can I ask a very pertinent question?
But remember, the department is not here.
Hello?
Remember, the department is not present in this meeting.
Okay.
Oh.
Let me ask a question because I think it came in the report by Shireen. The lack of monitoring and evaluation. Does DPME and AG's office believe that monitoring and evaluation, when it is within the management functions, is not working well because it's a referee and a player? Monitoring and evaluation should be institutionalized as a structure that stands alone to call on department to account when things are not going well. But if it's within the functions of the manager and we call that it's monitoring evaluation, we're not going to win the war. So I'm asking a question. DPME and AG, they do not believe that we need institutionalized monitoring evaluation structures within the department. Thank you, Chair.
No, the DPME is not part of the work of our department. It's a standalone thing that is in the presidency. But it's fine. I'm sure they must come and explain that difference properly.
Okay, fine. It's fine, Chair.
No. Okay.
You will take the question to a relevant structures when it's necessary.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Chairperson.
What do you think? Are you in? Natseki. Mutuge ali covered matateki. Uratanto. Untadumel.
Chairperson.
Nosipa, where are we now?
Sharon wants to talk, Chairperson.
Chairperson.
Yeah.
Incorporate all of the issues raised by members in the committee and forward the final report to you. But shouldn't we adopt?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's where I'm coming. I want somebody to move because we need to adopt this report in order for it to be 80 seats for this to be passed in Parliament. But I thought I heard Ntatetseki when he was thanking the work that you have done, but also adopting the report. I heard Ntatetseki saying that, and he needed someone to second him. Can I get somebody?
Chairperson.
Yeah. Can I get somebody to second the report?
Okay. Yes, I'm seconding, Chair, with the amendments. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. The report is now passed. Any other matter that the following matter no support, is it?
It's outstanding minutes, Chairperson, adoption of outstanding minutes.
How many are they?
5 from the
Okay.
previous term. It's not even new minutes from the third term.
Okay. Let's go through them.
Can you see them, Chairperson?
Yes, I see the minutes of the 23rd of August, 2022. They must have been read by members. Let me hear what do they say on page 1. Let's go through pages. Page 1. Page 2. Yeah, we have got no page numbers on this thing.
So
On
on
the
page
observation is page 3. So must I assume that the numbers represent pages?
on page 4 now, Chairperson.
Okay. Page 4. This is now the final page.
No. Here's the final page.
Here's the final page. The meeting was closed and adjourned. What time? Palangaskat.
At 11, Chairperson, there is.
Oh, yeah, it is 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Do I take it that the minutes are moved and adopted?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Or do you
Can I
want
move
us
for the adoption
of the 23rd of August 2023? They are moved. Can I get a seconder? A seconder is not rule. Members, let us be part of the meeting. I can't get into the meeting of the 13th of September when we have not adopted the one of the 23rd.
Seconded, Chair.
13th September. Letter pela no sipuyambi.
13 September, ambile, Chairperson.
Isukile screen presentation, screen.
I'm load shedded, Chairperson. Is it showing now?
It is. Let's do the same. Let's go page, just browse page by page. If somebody want to speak, they will speak on the matter.
Mamu Matuba's hand is up,
Okay.
Chairperson.
Yes, and me too.
Okay. And yours too.
Yeah.
When and who? Okay. Let me hear that. Let me hear you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair. I think this is the relevant time to correct the issue of attendance. I was part of the meeting, Chair, on the 13th of September.
What?
Chairperson, I will rectify the attendance.
Oh,
of
no.
October.
Okay.
Somebody saying no. Okay, let's browse up the page. If that is the case, it's fine. It will be corrected. Well, on page 2 now. Let's go. Ask concentrator.
We are here, Chair.
We
We are here.
Yeah? Oh, we are here. Okay.
Yes.
Closing. The meeting was closed then. What time? At 12:30. The minutes are so presented.
Yes.
Yes, mean you're moving for adoption.
I move for the adoption of the minutes, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable person. Who is second?
Honorable second. Honorable second.
The second meeting, no support.
Is the 20th of September.
Ay, mazize. Mazenga khulunywa nje.
My network is low, Chairperson. I'm load shedded, but it's coming.
Okay, we're waiting for you.
Chairperson, while we're waiting for that, any idea when we will have in-person meetings again?
Are we ready? I want us to be in person, by the way, so we can look for a venue. This thing of us not wanting to talk to one another face to face, I agree with you. 20th of September 2022, the minutes. I will facilitate it, Mr. Basson. I will facilitate it.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair,
Mhm.
on the attendance, same edition of the name of Honorable Meogo.
Was she present?
Chair,
Yes,
yes, Chair, I was present.
Oh,
Okay.
they're saying it. Hi, Mama, you are captured in the.
I mistake.
Absent.
I said
I don't
I
know.
will rectify it. For all
Rectify
the,
that, ma'am.
not only for the 13th, but for all the minutes, I will rectify it.
Thank you very much, Nasipo.
All right.
Okay. We're on page 2 now. Okay. I see Nasipo. At 11:50, the meeting then get closed. Any mover in the seconder?
I will move, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Basson.
I will second, Chair. Matuza.
Yeah. I see Nasipo. You brought back the 23rd of September. Yeah, 23rd of September. Okay. Asiqhubeke futhi.
I move, Chairperson.
The minutes are being moved by Honorable Tseki.
Chairperson, I second the proposal.
It is who now?
Mary.
Oh, Mary. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The meeting was closed at 10:30. Very early. I remember there was a complaint of the shortness of the meeting by someone.
Hi, Chairperson.
Okay. Give us the following minutes.
We are done, Chairperson. It's your closing remarks now.
Okay. Thanks members for being prompt on time. And I think we should be awaiting some report by the department on the progress being made on the prevalence of water scarceness especially in around Gauteng. As we speak, I haven't bathed thus far because there is no water. Water comes and go. Maybe we need just to be. I know that the minister was here It's a pity we did not join him because we did not know he's coming, but he was here. So if he can just take us on board that in his absence, not himself specifically the department, just take us on board. What is the issue? That as and when we are asked, because I mean, me and Tateteke, we are always here. So you get asked by members here, hey, you are in water and sanitation. Why there is no water? You can't answer. I'm in the bush next to the big water tanks where I am in Ekurhuleni, near Blackburn Stadium. But there is no water. But the tanks are here. There are a lot of trucks going up and down. There's no water. But there is progress.
Chair, we can hear you.
I'm
Chair.
saying, but there is progress that the minister is making. If he can just take us on board, it will be better. And I think there was a request made by one member also that we need to just be taken on board. The other thing that I think we need to be briefed, it is the progress being made about the water dam, the dam that get burst in Free State. Where are we? Because quite a lot of people lost their houses and so forth and so on. But from a department point of view, we do not know whether it is, are we playing a role? If we are, what is the role? Otherwise, let us prepare ourselves for the 27, 28, 29 in Nandoni and Giani. I hope that we all go there and see. I know that there was an apology by Member Baswan, but all of us who are available, please let's join in order for us to understand what is going around ourselves.
There's also an apology from Mr. Maybeck relating to the oversight, Chairperson.
Oh, okay. But I want one of them to attend. This thing of Maybeck and Manel Baswan, all of them not coming, I don't like it. I will talk to them in the corner because they must help us. But thank you very much. The meeting has come to an end. The meeting stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chair.
Chair. Long live the Chair. Long live.